Since I was a young kid, I loved the world of Japanese animation, or anime as we call it. That manga intro got engraved into my head as it fired up every time I watched an anime like Fistling of Star or something. At the same time, I've wanted many of these animes to come into video game form and be given the same level of awesomeness in-game as they received on screen. So today, I'd like to talk about 4 animes that I think deserve great video game representatives, and not only that, I'll discuss who I feel the best studios are to take this on and the game directions I think best suits these games. So, let's get straight into this. The first time I saw Blood, the Last Vampire in motion, I was blown away by its animation and violent action scenes, as well as being utterly intrigued in the main character's history. The way Saya and her history was portrayed in the short film instantly made me believe that this movie was based off a large number of mangas I had yet to discover. But nope. Apparently, to all my knowledge, this movie was the first time we'd ever seen Saya and as a character. And a few mangas were released later on, as follow-ups to this film.
Jesus. Wait, Saya, get a hold of yourself now!
Not the same thing again. Do you want to announce it to the whole world?
But why do I want this movie and character as a video game, you might ask? Well, first off, you tried to name me some truly great video games where you play as a vampire. And after you've mentioned games like Legacy of Kain, including Soul Reaver, Symphony of the Night, and arguably the Vampire Masquerade, you'll start to struggle. Vampire protagonists in video games are woefully underrepresented, and Saya, armed with a katana in a dark yet stylish third-person action adventure, similar to say a mix between Devil May Cry's fast sword combat, but with a close and personal character and environment focus of, say, Resident Evil, could, I feel, for me, be a very cool game. This is why I've chosen Capcom for this particular game, and why for all these games I'll be trying to focus on Japanese developers, purely because these are Japanese-based IPs, and I want to keep that anime focus on all of them. When Capcom get it right, they can blend horror and combat together like few other companies can, and of late they have been showing that even without the Platinum Games crew, they can still create excellent games based off their already established franchises. If we just look at the new Devil May Cry and even a Resident Evil remake. Make an original story of it, have a base in a crime-ridden part of, say, New York City at nighttime, with dark alleyways soaked in rain, with flickering neon lights, and dilapidated buildings lined with rusty metal stairs on the outside. Give us some increased abilities like greater jumping, fast reflexes, and honed senses, all of which can be upgraded over time. Have a move through a focused plot so the game doesn't become too unnecessarily open. Have a locate and hunt down rogue Chiropterans who are feeding on humans, and we could have ourselves an awesome single-player focused vampire third-person action adventure game, I feel. Easily one of the best animated films to come out of Japan, Princess Mononoke is everything I love about quality Japanese animation when a serious story is trying to be portrayed, yet the film still manages to retain that sense of wonder and magic that only animes deliver. The film has everything. Awesome protagonists, evil antagonists who you hate, yet can still see and understand the reasoning behind their actions, beautifully crafted environments that you want to walk through yourself, and awesome creatures who inspire both dread and wonder in their executions. For me, it's only been recently where one game has come close to Princess Mononoke, pretty much, being a type of game that I love the film to become, and that game is of course The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Everything from the deep forest, the Koroks, ancient beasts, malevolent horrors, fantastic combat that includes Japanese swords and bows, riding off forest creatures just like in the film, to visiting Japanese-inspired human settlements, hidden away in secret locations that help keep the dangerous wilds at bay whilst trying to get back a form of control. Change Link to Ashitaka, Zelda to Mononoke, Ganon to Lady Eboshi, and adapt the rest of the cast to their respective characters, and we could have an adventure unlike any other. And this is why I chose Nintendo and Monolith Soft to take on this task. Nintendo understand that deep Japanese lore, something that has been rife in the Zelda series, and Monolith can once again help to create a world begging for exploration, with side quests that take you from sleepy villages to ancient forests riddled with beauty and nightmares. The art style would also have to be similar to Breath of the Wild, or even take it a tiny bit further and have it as anime looking as, say, Ni no Kuni on the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. I don't think the world would need to be as big as Breath of the Wild, but a sense of scale would be needed for the forest areas which play an integral part to Princess Mononoke. Missions and side quests can easily revolve around villager requests, and once you team up with Mononoke, missions can straddle the line between even offering a choice system where the more you side with one faction, the harder and perhaps more hostile related areas become, as well as changing the dynamics of missions. For example, a villager tasks you with hunting a giant boar that's causing damage in a neighbouring area, but Mononoke tasks you with not harming the boar. If you kill it, the villager gives you a big reward, but you lose reputation with the Mononoke tribe. But if you don't kill it, you lose reputation with the village and receive no reward, but gain favour with Mononoke and get a new tool for the forest that has other benefits or something. These types of things can slowly build up as you progress through the main story, and as a new twist to the game, it could possibly decide on whether Ashitaka or Mononoke dies in the end. The humans lose and the animals take over, the humans win and destroy the forest, etc. I'm just throwing random game ideas out there in the hope this something like this would happen. But yeah, I'd love a game in this universe for sure, and Princess Mononoke is just amazing. Since it's the year 2019, and this happens to be the same year that the movie Akira takes place in, unfortunately, in our reality though, an awesome looking futuristic Neo Tokyo doesn't exist yet, and Kaneda's bike isn't commercially available, unless you're lucky enough to be Masahiro Sakurai. But man, this movie blew my tiny mind when I first saw it. I don't remember my exact age, but I must have been around 10 to 13 years old after this film released, I think in 1988. The whole start to this movie is sheer perfection, with the gang getting together and chasing the clowns throughout Neo Tokyo, causing carnage on the way. Only one game exists for Akira, and I believe this is on the NES, but this film needs to have a modern title to truly do it justice. And for me, just like the intro to this film, this game should be a bike racer in a large city looking like Neo Tokyo. I'm thinking Burnout Paradise in terms of map size, but geography wise the game would look similar to, say, Cyberpunk 2077. But of course with Akira's aesthetics. Think about racing through these neon lit streets after choosing which gang you want to affiliate yourself with, and the turf you'll need to defend against rival gangs. Customize your bike by collecting and selling parts from defeated enemies. Race past high-speed cars and pedestrians who might be unfortunate enough to get in your way. Be chased by the police, who will waste no time in ramming you off the road, and take part in a number of missions and races throughout the city that have you doing a variety of things to gain more street cred and expand your gang's turf. For me, this would be what I'd love to see from a new Road Rash, but set in the Akira world, which for me is a vastly more appealing world. And guess what studio I'm going to choose for this? Sony's own Polyphony Digital, assisted by Insomniac Games. That's right, sometimes the best studios for the job means a certain game will be exclusive to a certain console, but we just gotta get over that. Between these two studios' experiences with racing and open worlds, I think the right magic would be there. I just feel that the motorbike racing and the city itself was always the most exciting part of the Akira film, outside of the engagements with, of course, Tetsuo and Kaneda, etc., and could arguably make for a much more thrilling game than if you made one based off, say, Tetsuo, who had the power to level builders, etc. There are already plenty of third-person games out there, but not many motorbike games like I'm talking about here, if any at all. Between races, you could go to your local bar, upgrade your character's outfits, set the playlist for the next race, just like in the movie. Roll up to the bar, get some perks and everything like that, that can strengthen and weaken you in the next race, etc. Akira is world known, so now it's time for a great game in this stunning universe to exist.
Aw, out of ammo?
Huh?
And finally, we have my personal favorite anime series of all time, as well as one of the my top 5 films ever made. Ghost in the Shell's impact on modern sci-fi should never be underestimated, and this series starring a sheer awesomeness that is Major Motoko Kusanagi, who is my personal favorite character from any anime ever, truly deserves a fantastic game based off this awesome protagonist. There's been a total of 4 games from this series, I believe. There was the PS1 game, but at the time I knew nothing about the standalone Complex series and had only seen the original movie. So seeing the Tachigoma tank in the PS1 game made little sense to me, and I thought that the game was crap, to be honest. Then we have what is probably the better effort, and that's the PlayStation 2 version of the game. But the other games released on the PSP and the most recent PC one, based in these universes, have fallen flat for me and don't represent Ghost in the Shell in its best light. This is why I feel the best studio to deliver a great third-person action and stealth-focused Ghost in the Shell game would be Eidos Montreal and Square Enix. Between the reboots of Deus Ex and Tomb Raider, I think this studio could take a good stab at a great third/first-person stealth action game for Ghost in the Shell, starring the Major, of course. Deus Ex wasn't too far off what I'd like to see from a Ghost in the Shell game, but if you added some more agile platforming skills and combat mechanics from the Tomb Raider series as well, then I think this would be a good mix. If multiplayer needs to be added, I say go down the co-op routes of say EA's Syndicate reboot, or even Perfect Dark, where up to 2 or 4 players could tackle missions together, each with their own strengths and weaknesses, requiring them to work together and to get the job done. And this obviously works well with the members of Section 9. But overall, a solid single-player adventure in the Ghost in the Shell world handled well could be utterly sensational, and that's something I'd love to see. But I'm done here. I hope you liked the video and my choices, but of course I'd love to hear your own suggestions and wants in regards to the anime world getting great video game representation where they haven't before, and even your own ideas for these games. But once again, thanks for listening all, take care, peace.